The future of Xbox is here, and it fits in the palm of your hand. What's up, y'all? It's Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories, you know how it goes, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. And today is a very special video because I'm back at the Xbox Showcase, baby. They invited me back. Crazy, right? And I just got out of a presentation featuring Xbox's newest bit of hardware. I got to hold it in my hands, play around with it. No, I'm talking about the ROG Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X. Now, we've been hearing about this for months now, this collaboration that Xbox has with Asus, previously operating under the name Project Kennen. We even got a leak, and it turns out that that leak was spot on. That dummy unit that came out randomly out of nowhere, that's pretty much exactly what it turned out to be. This is a PC gaming handheld powered by Windows with a special Xbox console-like UI. And I gotta say, I went into this a little bit skeptical because I had already been seeing a lot of content about it from people who went hands-on before me. My buddy Jimmy did a video about it, and he is a notorious Steam Deck glazer. But I gotta say, I walked away from my experience pretty damn impressed. Now, first of all, I will admit, when those leaks came out with that dummy unit, I will say I was clowning on the design a little bit, especially these little handles right here, these controller-like handles that they've added. I was clowning on it. I was like, I don't know about that, but holding it in my hand, it feels a lot better than my base ROG Ally right here, for sure. It feels a lot more natural, a lot more controller-like, and also serves as like a nice little separation between, you know, where you grip this thing. A lot of questionable language being thrown around, but like where you grip it and like what's going on under the hood with the battery and the processor and all that. I will say the presentation, the hands-on part of it, I didn't get to go hands-on for a long time. I got to check out the UI and I got to play a little bit of Gears of War Reloaded, but it wasn't very long. Overall, it was like 10 total minutes, maybe a little bit more for that gameplay. But what I saw as a guy who owns an Ally, the base version, I was pleased. I was rocking with it, man. First of all, the UI, it is more or less what we've come to know from the Xbox PC app, but they did confirm that it's tweaked a little bit visually, but the most important part is that they've cut down on some extraneous Windows background features so you have more resources for the games. And that was a big focus of the overall presentation, cutting down on the time it takes for you to pick this thing up and get into a game, which is one of my biggest gripes about this thing right here. When I bought this thing, I wanted a gaming handheld, but when you boot it up, they treat it like it's a little like PC. They want you to go through all of this like extra Windows BS. They're like, oh, do you want Microsoft Office? You're gonna be making PowerPoints on this thing? It's no, I want to play games. And it seems like these two devices, the Xbox Ally, the Xbox Ally X, that's the final evolution of that idea, the whole point of this partnership. As far as the differences between these two devices, this boy is basically the beefier option. It's got a full terabyte of storage. It's got a bigger battery, so longer play sessions. It's got a better processor. This is a Z2 Extreme with AI, whereas in this version, it is an AMD Ryzen Z2A, which from my understanding, watching Jimmy's videos and Austin Evans' video, that is a chip that was specifically designed for the Steam Deck. Very interesting that it's showing up in these two consoles. I was really impressed with the gameplay of Gears of War Reloaded, and I got to play it on the Xbox Ally X. Surely no one will be confused by that. And speaking of questionable names, the UI, everyone was expecting like Xbox PC or like Xbox OS or like Windows Xbox, but the name that they ended up going with was the Xbox Full Screen Experience. This seems to be specific to handhelds, what Jason Ronald was referencing a couple months back, blending the best of Xbox and Windows. They definitely could have come up with a better name, but the product, the UI, I'm really a big fan of. Unlike my base ROG Ally, this one has a dedicated Xbox guide button, which brings up the game bar. And in this version of the game bar, the Armory Crate app is actually built in. If you hold the guide button as well, it brings up multiple windows so you can seamlessly switch through other applications that you're running, like Discord. I thought that was a really cool feature. The whole draw of this is the flexibility of Windows, being able to access other storefronts like Steam, like Battle.net, and I was surprised to see that not only are you able to access those from your game bar like I can on my Ally now, but that integration is also in the full screen Xbox experience. If you go to your installed games in this app, in the full screen experience, there are new sorting options that let you look at all your Xbox installed games and your Steam games as well. And I assume that's going to apply to other launchers as well, like Epic and Battle.net. They're calling it an aggregated gaming library. So not just your Xbox library, but your library, any game that you have installed on this thing will show up in this Xbox full screen experience, no matter what launcher it's from. It's a very interesting glimpse into this new direction that Xbox is taking. Seeing Steam at all on anything Xbox is crazy. And of course, there has been a ton of rumors regarding the next generation of Xbox consoles saying, oh yeah, the next, like the Series X2, that's gonna have Steam integration as well. They're apparently testing it at Microsoft. So this was another interesting glimpse into that potential future. The memory is also a pretty decent upgrade from what I'm working with on my base Ally. 16 gigs for the Xbox Ally and 24 for the Xbox Ally X. There's also apparently going to be a feature that will let you know which games are optimized for gaming handhelds. You know, how does the UI look on this thing? Does the text translate well? They gave us a release date of holiday 2025 later this year, but no info about pricing yet. There was a lot in this presentation. They were trying to make it clear like, oh, this is still in development. We're still trying to figure this out. So there's still a lot of questions that I have, including, oh, what are the prices of these things? But from what I've seen so far, it takes all of my frustrations that I had with my regular ROG Ally and does away with them, throws them in the trash. For example, on this thing, if an on-screen keyboard pops up, if you gotta type in anything on this thing, you can't use the gamepad that's built in. And you're confirmed able to do that on both of these devices. There's also a feature that they're working on where I discovered in my time with my Ally, if I try to launch a game from another launcher, it'll attempt to run the games at the same time. In these versions, apparently there's gonna be a little pop-up that says, oh, you're trying to launch another game. Do you want us to close the other game that you're currently running? Overall, I'm impressed. I really enjoyed it. We're not quite sure what the hardware capabilities of these things are just yet. This one claims 1080p resolution on a 120Hz screen. This one a little bit less at 900. But like I said, Gears of War Reloaded was looking great on this, and I was able to watch someone play the docked version, and it looked awesome. And I think that's another underrated quality of these things, is that yes, they are handhelds, but you can use them docked, like I showed in my previous video, either on a TV or a monitor. Hook up a controller, hook them up to your TV and play on the couch like you would a console. And in this presentation as well, they did mention that you're going to be able to boost the performance when it's docked, thanks to these accessories coming out that would make it more on par with like a desktop computer with like a 5th generation chip. I imagine that accessories like those are going to push the price way into the stratosphere. They didn't give us any info about pricing yet, but given the way things have been going, consoles getting more expensive all around, I would imagine that this is like $550, this one closer to like $800. Now, of course, the elephant in the room is Steam, Valve, SteamOS. A couple weeks ago, it was discovered that games, even though they were natively designed to run on Windows, for some reason are running better on SteamOS with a layer of Proton than they do on Windows themselves. So devices like the Legion Go S with SteamOS are being looked at right now as the pinnacle of gaming handhelds. So why, when there's something on the market like that, would you go for either of these? I still think there's a case to be made, especially with the flexibility of Windows, having those other launchers already integrated into the Xbox full screen experience. But we also know that Play Anywhere is a big focus of Xbox going forward. And chances are, if you've bought an Xbox game over the past like 2 or 3 years, it's supported by Play Anywhere. Meaning that if you were to buy one of these, the Xbox Ally or the Xbox Ally X, chances are you'd be able to download that game you bought on your console and play it on this versus buying it all over again on Steam. And of course, all of your progress from that game you bought on your console would transfer over to something like this. So if you're like me and you're already entrenched in the Xbox ecosystem, you use Game Pass especially, I imagine you have a lot more of an easier time buying one of these and transitioning your library over versus if you bought a Steam Deck or the Legion Go S. Of course, all of these features, a lot of these features that I'm talking about, oh, you boot right into the Xbox app. That's something that you should have been able to do a while ago. Like you pick up a Switch, you boot right into the games. You pick up a Steam Deck, you boot right into the games. That's to be expected. That's like the bare minimum when it comes to having a gaming handheld. So while yes, this is cool and all, it kind of feels like Xbox is on the back foot a little bit with this. It's clear that they're trying to make a serious push in the handheld gaming space, but it's also clear that they're playing a little bit of catch up here, which is the whole reason apparently why they partnered up with Asus in the first place. Asus had the know-how. They knew how to make gaming handhelds from the hardware perspective, but they didn't really have the game portfolio or the software knowledge, so they teamed up with Microsoft, and hence these things were born. But we also know that Microsoft, Xbox, they have a ton of money to throw at this. And I do believe that this is a good step in the right direction, a positive step forward for them. Especially if you're into this future of being able to buy one bit of Xbox hardware and access all of these different storefronts like Steam. I am curious whether or not, because the big draw of these things, yes, the hardware is nice, the ergonomics are good, games perform really well on it from what I've seen. In the limited time I've seen, I'll clarify that. But a big draw for me is that software. Am I gonna have to pay hundreds of dollars in order to get the Xbox full screen experience? Or will I be able to update my Ally and get all of those benefits? And why not stop there? If every screen is truly gonna become an Xbox, are they gonna shop this around to Lenovo or other hardware manufacturers? I don't know if they got beef with Lenovo now because they teamed up with Valve, but I'm still curious as to how far this is really gonna go. And what does this mean for the Xbox first-party handheld? This is clearly just the beginning for Xbox and their handheld gaming ambitions. There's still work to be done, but I do think that this is a great step in the right direction, especially as someone who had a lot of frustrations with my original Ally. I keep saying that, but I love this thing, man. I think it's cool. I don't mean to be bad talking you all that much, but I will admit that these are a great deal cooler, especially with that integrated Xbox experience. This is clearly something that they're still trying to fine-tune ahead of its holiday release. But this is a promising start. Your boy Ray is excited. I know. Most of y'all don't even care about handhelds. But the broader concepts here, combined with the fact that you can dock this and play on your monitor or on a TV, make it a really potent, versatile gaming machine. Anyways, that is all I have right now to say about the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. I still got a couple of more appointments here at the Xbox Game Showcase. I'm gonna be talking about all of that stuff later this week. I'm gonna be going hands-on with some of the games that you saw in the showcase. So if you wanna hear my thoughts on that, make sure you subscribe, check back later in the week, because there's a lot to unpack from this showcase. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.